such good shit.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the 31st edition of the Next One podcast. I'm Ron Calling with Brennan Smith, Zach Marhamo. We're not going to do this again. And we're going to have a special guest, Charlie Newman, the King Jew of Worcester, come on later in the show. But how are you guys doing today?
Feeling good. It's day I don't know of quarantine, and it did not rain today, so that's a win.
That's good.
Yeah, so it's gonna be May in like 3 days. So I guess April just wasn't a thing this month because I don't even remember it. I feel like we're in March.
Well, if you guys saw my tweet today, I tweeted exactly that. I kind of stole that from Scott Van Pelt on him talking about after the Jordan doc, but I made it my own. And like when he said that, it's like April has literally been a week long, and March was like the longest month of my life. So I hope that doesn't mean I'm getting used to being quarantined, but that also means that sports timeline's getting constructed down, so it's kind of scary.
I think spring is also on halt because the NBA and NHL seasons are also on halt. Because it just we're still in early spring. Like we don't have that April that good weather that rolls around. It's still dark, gloomy, raining, like 40-degree weather. We make it snow. So I'm convinced that March was just an extra long month this year, and we're just going to go straight into May, maybe even June. Who knows if we have May too.
Well, the Massachusetts stay-at-home law has been extended to May 18th, so I mean we're well on our way. But I would also say this has been the most action-packed past week since March, because we had the NFL draft and the Jordan documentary, and we had the Monster Baby. So I mean, what more could you ask? Let's start with the NFL draft, and I loved this format of the NFL draft. I don't know if it's because I just knew I'd love it no matter what because it's something new to watch, but I think seeing Roger Goodell have to do 3 rounds of drafting was very funny. I also thought it was interesting how Joe Burrow, his reaction to it was the most calm, like, I don't care reaction to getting drafted, and everyone else was throwing mini parties and clearly not following the 10-person or less rule. You could always see people in the background hiding. But what was your guys' take on the draft in general?
I thought it was pretty good. I think it was like 15 million people watched or tuned in, and I saw a stat. It said more people watched the NFL draft than both the semifinals of the college football playoffs, which is actually absurd to think about. Especially because like there was a point where they weren't even sure that they were going to even have a draft because of the coronavirus. But I did enjoy the memes of like how all the moms of the houses were probably like running around trying to clean the house because they're about to be on national television. I did highly enjoy those memes.
I agree. I thought they did a great job. Definitely better than what I expected. Not really many missteps throughout the 3 days. And they also I thought it was interesting that not only did they set overall record for views, but they set records on every single day. So it wasn't like the first night had a ton of people, and obviously it drops off, but the fact that they set it over 3 days was pretty interesting. We're really that bored when people are watching rounds 5, 6, and 7 on a Saturday. So
I know
it was interesting, especially seeing the people in their homes and just how awkward that was compared to that first round and the presentation they put on there. I felt like every time they came back from commercial, they were showing Las Vegas, and this is where the draft was supposed to be. And they were playing High Hopes coming back. And that song, can we please retire High Hopes? I felt like that's been played in every significant sporting event the last 2 years. So that has to be retired now. Once this is over, we had High Hopes. We're out of the coronavirus. We're leaving that song in 2020 in the coronavirus. That's going to stay here.
I like that mentality. Leave all that behind. We're at new beginning now. let's get to some of the other more football related picks. I thought we were talking about the sport. The two most hilarious picks, and we knew this would probably happen anyways, but now you have the excuse of we didn't get a full analysis. Like GMs will say, we couldn't analyze all the players, so we just had to go with our gut. That's just a built-in excuse. But the fact that the Cowboys drafted a receiver, you already know Jerry Jones did it just because he recognized the name, and he's on his boat, and he recognized the name, Oklahoma guy. Jerry Jones knows that Dak will more likely sign a less contract if gets him CeeDee Lamb, that pick. And Aaron Rodgers has to be absolutely furious that they're drafting Jordan Love. Like, it's really a taste your own medicine because this is basically the Brett Favre Aaron Rodgers thing. But I think Aaron Rodgers was a lot more presumed to be good because he fell in the draft where Jordan Love was projected to be around a late first-round pick. And fun stat before I let you guys talk, Aaron Rodgers has only thrown one touchdown pass to a first-round pick. That's Mercedes Lewis. So Aaron Rodgers, as much as you can't like some of his antics, how he kind of just calls everyone out, he has a reason to be angry because they're a 13-3 team that is probably more like a 10-6 team, and they did not get better in this draft.
I agree they didn't get better. They for some reason not only did they drafted Jordan Love in the first round, then they drafted A.J. Dillon, a bruiser running back in the second round when they already have two very good running backs, which just made no sense between Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. Now they're going to add a third running back in the mix for absolutely no reason. But the Jordan Love, because a lot of people are comparing the Jordan Love Aaron Rodgers to the Brett Favre Aaron Rodgers, but then I looked more into that, and Brett Favre had told the Packers that he was only going to play one more year, so they knew that they needed a quarterback now. So like plus Brett Favre wasn't like he was past his prime. Aaron Rodgers isn't past his prime.
Make an argument.
No ways past the prime.
I don't know. Stats have fallen the last 3 years.
Maybe like a slight difference, but I would consider him still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
I agree.
So and like everybody, the Jordan Love hype is legit because people were comparing him to Patrick Mahomes.
Literally,
when it's like dude, Patrick Mahomes, like you don't just get those in the draft.
It's because he's a guy with a huge arm from. Well, he was from Texas Tech. Shout out to Texas Tech. But like a tall, huge arm guy that was unpresuming. That's literally what probably teams are basing it off of because he stunk last year. So
I can't fathom like using a first round pick and it's not gonna it might not pay dividends until 3 or 4 years. That's crazy.
I have two conspiracy theories on the two picks we just mentioned, CeeDee Lamb and Jordan Love. For CeeDee Lamb, I'm actually convinced on that he found out the Eagles were going to take him, and so they took him instead. Jerry Jones found out that the Eagles were going to take CeeDee Lamb, so he said, "Fuck it, we're going to go for it." Did you see how excited he was when that pick was announced when they made that? I mean, I would be excited too if I was drafting CeeDee Lamb, but I think that pure excitement was because he knew that the Eagles had their eyes on him.
He looked like an evil villain on his huge millionaire yacht, like all white, everything. I think his daughter was holding his phone for him so he could talk to someone. Like Jerry, he's literally the epitome of like a cartoon villain.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else was as happy for picking, at least in the first round, than him.
Which, I mean, I would be happy because CeeDee Lamb was supposed to be like a early teens, maybe like in the 10s. Like
him and Judy kind of dropped a little bit. They were supposed to be in the top 10.
Yeah, I was surprised that Ruggs went over both of them, but
I mean, a lot of people they think Ruggs is going to be like a Tyreek Hill, like just outrun everybody.
Al Davis is somewhere in heaven looking down with a smile on his face that the Raiders are sticking to their guns and only picking the fastest guy as their top wide receiver. because
Yeah, no, honestly, and even Mayock was he was showing excitement for that pick too, and I did not expect that. I thought he was going to be pissed because Mark Davis gave him a call and said, "Yeah, we're taking Henry Ruggs. You have no choice."
I'd hate to be a GM and have someone else. What's the point of being a GM if someone's just going to make the decision for you?
No.
Smitty, what's your next conspiracy?
So I was just looking it up to see if Matt LaFleur was also the GM for the Packers, and he's not. I didn't think so, but I want to make sure. It's Brian
Colangelo.
No, Gutenkunst. I no clue how to say that name. So my conspiracy theory is that Matt LaFleur hates Aaron Rodgers so much, and after 1 year of being his coach was like, fuck this, that he convinced the general manager that they need to invest in this Jordan Love kid in the first round. He's give me 3 years with them. I'll develop him. We have our next guy. We're investing in the future. When in reality, he knew that if they took Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers would be so pissed that he's going to request the trade. So Jordan Love will be playing within the next year, maybe 2 years, and Aaron Rodgers will be playing somewhere else because he's going to request a trade and be gone.
Is that your hot take of 2020 right there? Is that the take?
No, I actually think like, how
Aaron
did
Rodgers.
he probably took a court? I guarantee that played a factor in it, that Matt LaFleur was able to get a quarterback because they don't want Rodgers anymore. And
why would you not want Rodgers?
Now, because they probably don't want to deal with him, and where the roster is, they may not see the team having that much potential. And even though they made the NFC Championship, I still think they have a lot of flaws, and they're still not one of the best teams in the NFC. And maybe I'm not saying they should, but maybe the coach and the GM, they want to force him out in order to rebuild.
Interesting. That's crazy.
Because
that's crazy.
If they did that, if they did move on from Rodgers and blew it up and try to get, they drafted Love, but maybe their idea was, if they don't get him, they get someone next year. They could get Fields if they want to tank, but it would never happen. I mean, they would never win the fan base over to do that, or the ownership as well.
What is funny though, because the Eagles drafted like Jalen Hurts, and we were just kind of like what the F, like why would you do that? You have Carson Wentz who's 26 years old. A lot of people are like, oh well, Doug Peterson is gonna make him like a Taysom Hill. It's like, bro, that's not how it works, dude.
You don't use the second round pick for Taysom Hill.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Taysom Hill was an undrafted free agent. I think he took, since he's Mormon, I think he had to do his Mormon trip to Australia or something, or South America, because I think Mormons have to, like, after college for 2 years, go. I forget what it's called. But Taysom Hill, as a rookie, was like 26, 27 in the NFL. And he's undrafted.
He's 27, yeah.
27, and he literally had to, like, claw his way up, where your second round pick, like their Patriots, their first pick was in the second round, and we're expecting him to be a starter. So, and Eagles chose him before that. So I don't see the logic in it, but Eagles will be Eagles. Philadelphia is going to have another quarterback controversy soon enough, because, once Carson Wentz gets hurt and Hurts gets in and goes like 3-1, it's going to be a whole thing, and I can't wait.
And the Eagles have an out of Wentz's contract after the 2021 season, so maybe that's what they're looking at. Honestly, I don't know if they should be concerned if Wentz really, either his injury is like that's concerned, or they're just concerned in his play overall, if they should be. But at least give them credit if they do have their concerns, that they went and got another guy in case. The teams like the Rams, who I think should have gotten out of Goff's contract, and the Bills, if they drafted Jalen Hurts, I mean that would be pretty scary, and they give him a chance to win a starting job this year. I mean they have a legit defense. They just picked up Stephon Diggs. I mean, if they can get a decent quarterback, they could win the AFC within the next few years. But teams and then the Bears now, they traded for Foles, but teams who invest so much in a quarterback and then it blows up in their face, and they want to hold on to it as much as they can. But at least give the Eagles credit if they don't think it's going to work out. They're already preparing for the next guy.
True.
It's interesting. I mean, I would do everything I could to get – I know they were going after, like you said, CeeDee Lamb, but I mean, couldn't they still got the LSU wide receiver Jefferson? I forget if they were.
They could have, yeah. They drafted He was picked.
Yes.
He was taking the next pick.
Yeah,
they took
right after.
Jalen Reagor,
So
who I don't know. So I don't. I looked into that, and some draft analysts said that he probably would have had a better year if he played for LSU. Like if he played for LSU, he would have been considered one of the best wide receivers, like top 3 or 4. But because of that, that's why people were confused that they took him over Jefferson. So, but I don't know. I didn't even know the guy before, so I have no idea.
So before we get into Patriots talk, one thing is I hate how people grade drafts because like it's literally impossible. Like just a few years ago, everyone was like absolutely attacking the Raiders for trading Khalil Mack, and then all of a sudden now I think people are thinking the Raiders won that Khalil Mack trade because they got so many picks, like quality players out of it. So
yeah,
these draft analysts, it's almost impossible. Like I could say one thing and I have just as much of a chance of being right as like anyone on NFL Network, just because it's impossible to tell.
It also always comes back and bites them, like always.
Yeah,
like any like low end pick, like let's say the bottom three round 3 down, like if they end up having a successful career, they always look back on what those draft analysts said and like they just roast them. I'm just like, dude, and these people still have jobs.
Yeah, did you guys see the clip of Bill Polian talking about Tyrann Mathieu when he was drafted?
And he wouldn't even draft him at all.
Yeah, he would be off the draft board for his attitude, the way he treats his teammates and his coaches.
And he's a Hall of Fame GM that makes these decisions, and he's also on the record for hating Lamar Jackson, who's reigning MVP. So I mean,
he should be converted to a wide receiver or a running back. I think I forget which one.
That's my Bill Polian is a Hall of Fame GM. He's supposed to be one of the better GMs at making decisions, and if someone like him is blatantly wrong so many times on TV, like everyone else, I don't think there's any sense. Like even Bill Belichick, the best coach of all time, admittedly he kind of sucks at drafting, especially drafting wide receivers. So it's literally just a guessing game. You're sticking your hand in the haystack and hoping you don't get a needle.
Yeah.
Wow. Great analogy, Ryan.
I just thought of that like off the cuff. All right. So before Smitty's in charge of getting my friend, the Jewish alpha, Charlie Newman on. So before we get him on, I just want to talk a few minutes of the Patriots, and then we're going to give him his warning. So Patriots draft. We draft – I know the initial reaction, we're all texting together on draft night, and Kyle Duggar, Division II player, and Smitty, I know your reaction was absolutely heated, but you recovered the next day after watching him.
In the moment was so mad because I thought the defensive talent that was on the board that they were going to go after Kenneth Murray, maybe Patrick Queen or AJ Epinesa. So when they traded out, I was mad because I knew that I knew Murray was going to go, and he actually ended up going that pick. And I thought maybe Queen would fall, but the Ravens were smart to pick him up too.
Now, what's the initial thought? You can't really draft. You can't really judge the players because obviously we're not obsessively watching college football, watching film, analyzing everything. But position-wise, we drafted Kyle Duggar safety first. First 3 draft picks were defense, which is telling. And the next 2 were the 2 tight ends, Devin Asiasi, I don't know how to say his name, and Dalton.
Devin Asiasi.
Asiasi?
Asiasi, yes.
Asiasi.
Like an Asiago bagel, but no G.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it was very telling how we went 3 defense when the defense is our stronger suit, but I think this is Belichick just doubling down, like, I'm doing what I'm good at. I'm making the defense as best as it can be to carry the offense, in my opinion.
Dude, that's what we were saying on previous podcasts. We got to go back to the basics. Good defense and a good tight end. It'll open up having a good tight end will open up everything we have on offense. And we had to replace Jamie Collins and we had to replace Van Noy. So
And
I mean, I
and
think,
they go ahead.
I think our draft picks. I mean, he drafted with the intention of those at least first 4 rounds or our first 4 picks of all those guys starting like day one.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say he did exactly that, replace those players. Like Duggar replaced Duron Harmon, Josh Uche replaced Jamie Collins, and Anthony Jennings replaced Kyle Van Noy. And all three of those guys will play right away. Duggar, he's 24. So I think that, Division II player. So there will be some adjustment for him going from Division II to the NFL. But like we were talking about it earlier, when he played in the Senior Bowl, he dominated, and there seemed to be a consensus between across the league that he was probably going to be a second round pick. So I don't think that Belichick reached too far, but he's going to come in and replace Harmon, especially in 3 safety sets. And what I was going to say is him being 24 years old, they probably expect that he is in the physical shape to step into the league and take on a role like that right away. Uche will be a great pass rusher, and Van Noy as well, but he can also drop back in coverage too. Like they literally replaced those 3 players right there. And again, as we said, their model, and it's exactly what it was with Brady back in the early 2000s when they went on that run. They had a great defense and made things easier on the offense, who did not have as many weapons and didn't have to put a ton of points on the board. And that's definitely their mentality now with Stidham. He's going to be the guy. They didn't draft a quarterback. They said that wasn't by design. I wonder if maybe Hurts fell to the 3rd round, they were going to grab him, or if Love fell, they were going to take him with that 2nd round pick. Or I'm sure they were looking at Fromm in the 5th round, but they obviously decided that they needed a kicker, and they took Rohrwasser with that 5th round pick. And they did have other 5th round picks, and they used those to trade up. So, and you also mentioned the tight end. I kept saying there's no way that they can go into next year with Matt Lacoste and Larry. I always say Larry Izzo, Ryan Izzo as their 2 tight ends, and I was glad that they picked up a few.
Yeah, I think Bill, I'm probably wrong about it, but my opinion is he's going for, like, the defense is going to be a great variety of seasoned veterans, been there, done that, and a lot of hungry young rookies just trying to, like, make their way in. And I think that's the combination Bill's looking for, to be young and fast, but still have those vets to be able to rely on, like McCourty and Hightower and the other McCourty.
Yeah. Like they traded that 1st round pick. They could have, if Patrick Queen or Kenneth Murray ends up being a stud, they missed out on him. But I think that they decided, as we said, that if they still want to be a competitive team, they have a lot of holes they need to fill, especially on defense. And, these players, they may not end up being, Pro Bowlers every year, but they may serve those roles that he wants in that defense. So, I mean, we'll see. There's definitely some upside with these players, but I don't, like, he wasn't looking for, he's looking for what's going to fit their needs to still be, one of the best teams in the league next year.
Yeah, I agree. And one last point before we add Charlie on to the podcast is my question. Is this, because we traded down a lot, we're accumulating picks, do you think there will be any attempt, unless Stidham proves he's a stud, is there going to be any attempt for the Patriots to draft highly next year for a quarterback? Is this a transition year? That's kind of my question. Or do we?
I think it really is all up to Stidham. Like, based on like how I think we are going to roll with him and roll the punches, the good and the bad with him. And I mean, if he leads us to a 6-10 record, then it's a 6-10 record, and we're going to draft a quarterback. But if he leads us, if we make the playoffs, do we need a quarterback? Based off how he plays, is it the most essential part of the team? Because I mean, next year I think the top 2 quarterbacks will be Fields and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I think truly, if you don't have a top 10 pick, you're not getting either of those guys. So I really think it's all up to Stidham. How he prepares for this year, how the whole team comes together. Are we winning games, 17-0, or is he able to actually be an offensive threat for us?
I agree completely. I still think, as we just said, they filled those needs on defense, and yeah, they may not blow these terrible teams out and go 8-0 and put up these dumb numbers against crappy teams, but I still think that they will have that good defense and be able to grind out wins, and it definitely is going to ride on Stidham. The offense, they have nothing flashy, nothing sexy in it really, but I still think they have diversity and some players there. Harry in his second year. I mean, when has Bill ever given up on a player after 1 year? You know, Dominic Easley is one that comes to mind, but he had injuries. Cyrus Jones, but like the players that he did,
he kept dropping the ball.
And the people that they did give up on after, you know, a year, maybe their second year came around and they were phased out. Like, it was very, very obvious that they were not going to contribute to this team. And I still think Harry has shown potential. I mean, he missed the first half of the season due to injury, so there were only, you know, I think he maybe ended up playing 7 or 8 games at that point. So I still think there's plenty of potential there. White, Sony Michel, they still have that great offensive line. They haven't traded Tooney. I don't think they're going to now. I think they would have during the draft. So he's going to be here this year. If it just matters on with Stidham coming in, they have these 2 tight ends now. Definitely some diversity there and a lot of athleticism too. So and that is going to make a huge difference. So the weapons are there. He's been in the system for a year. You know, now assuming we have a season, you got to be ready to go. And that's what Bill's expectation is going to be. And then if it doesn't work out, then yeah, they have to look for a new option.
Maybe trade for Aaron Rodgers, huh, Smitty?
Yeah. I honestly though, like I do question if there's so much tension there that they might be looking for a way for him to move on. Because I mean, how could you convince the fan base that you're going to move on from Aaron Rodgers when he's probably still in his prime? And honestly, I would like I take Aaron Rodgers' side in this. I would be so pissed if I was him. No matter what, he's got 2, 3, 4 years left, maybe. Best case scenario for him, I think. But the team is still good. If they can. I know it's just saying that maybe they don't think that. In my opinion, I think they are. I think if their defense. I mean, when he was really in his prime, I don't think they had a great defense. They relied on him and their offense. But now they have a good defense. They don't need to rely on him as much. But if they get him some decent weapons, they could be the same style as the Patriots. So, and they're only a few pieces away. They have Devontae Adams and no one else. Literally no one else on that offense.
Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Jones. And they drafted the BC guy. What's his face?
The running back.
AJ Dillon.
Yes.
I saw, not to get off topic, but he's addicted to eating applesauce. He's a big applesauce guy. Fun fact about AJ Dillon. And
probably why I went to BC, because they're all soft.
Whoa. I mean, not going to deny that. I just think if Jarrett Stidham didn't throw that interception to Jamal Adams against the Jets, I think we'd look at Jarrett Stidham a lot differently than we currently look at him. Because in the preseason, he was nice. He had some good moments in the preseason. It is the preseason, but I think people would look a lot less skeptical at him. I think people would give him a lot more of a chance if he didn't throw such a bad interception on his first NFL throw.
Very true. Very true.
All right, so Smith, if you want to add Charlie, hopefully he's by his computer. Charlie, just give him. We'll wait to get on to give him his warning, but to give a background, he's a big Michigan fan. Pat's.
Oh, I hit join, so he's joining now.
Let's go, Charles Newman.
He's connecting the audio.
Okay, so I think the Patriots drafted Michigan guys just to fill the void of Tom Brady. That's my conspiracy theory, that we drafted Michigan guys just to fill the void of Tom Brady from Michigan leaving.
That's a terrible theory.
I agree. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
there it is.
Yo. All right. What's up, guys? So,
how's it going?
We're welcoming Charlie Newman, but this is Charles Newman, very formal.
Thank you.
Charlie, so I'm very happy to have you on the podcast. I did a terrible job of hyping you up to him, which is my bad.
Oh no.
Yeah,
no.
He really did not sell you at all. Just to give you a fair warning. He did not. He did a terrible job.
So what did you say?
What did I say? I at the end I fixed it. I said I think Charlie, out of all my friends from Worcester, is the best option for a podcaster. And you said you'd bring your Stephen A. Heat. So,
I mean, that was a joke, but thank you.
That's what sold us. So now we're expecting it.
All right. So
shit. Okay.
Don't bring the heat, or you're just terrible. We're just gonna have to cut you off. but I expect you to be fire, so I don't think that'll be an issue.
All right. So serious question. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Hell yeah.
Yes. Ryan's mother doesn't approve, but yes, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I won't swear, but Smitty loves swearing. When Hennessy's on, Hennessy has the mouth of a
Sailor.
Sailor.
Yes, that was the word.
Okay.
You can drop F-bombs. I won't edit them out because I'm very lazy. But Charlie,
Whoa. Just first of all, Mrs. Connolly, if I say a bad word, I'm sorry.
So welcome to the podcast. Charlie, you are a big Michigan guy. Am I correct in saying that?
Unfortunately, yeah, I am.
Yes. So how do you like Jim Harbaugh? That's my first question out the bat. Are you a Jim Harbaugh fan?
Dude, I honestly can't give you a straight answer. Like it just I changed from hating him to really liking him to hating him to I don't know, man. I'm just after what 5 years, I just don't know what to think, to be honest.
Who do you hate more, Jim Harbaugh or Matt Patricia? Because you're also a Lions fan.
Jim Harbaugh or Matt Patricia? Well, I think Jim Harbaugh's a better coach, obviously. Matt Patricia is not. I don't know. I don't think he's a good coach. But anyways.
I have a theory that Belichick hasn't hired a defensive coordinator because he knows that Matt Patricia is going to need a job in a year.
True.
Do you agree with that?
I mean, I'm not. First of all, I'm a Lions fan. I'm not a Pats fan. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, does Belichick really like keeping his coaches around that much? I don't know.
I honestly, yeah. No, I do. Him and Saban in that documentary they did on HBO, they talked about how they didn't like when people they like gave opportunities to just kind of left like unexpectedly, or even went to like rival teams, or like if he had say like Matt Patricia left and he took a bunch of assistant coaches with him. He said he hated when people did that.
Understandable. I mean, I don't know if Belichick would do that, but it's possible.
I think Patricia tries to be like him too much. That's why.
Wait. What was that, Ryan?
You're not a Belichick conspiracy theorist at all?
No.
All right, so I'm gonna get right into it and ask. I'm sure you don't watch Michael Onwenu. Is that how you say it, Smitty?
Onwenu?
Onwenu?
I think.
Onwenu.
Oh, wait.
U at the end.
Do you mean the O-lineman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know shit about him. Like, who cares about linemen in college? Like,
whoa.
No.
Linemen are the pride and joy of the team.
No, I know. I'm in terms of like reporting, like no one ever talks about him.
He may not even make the team, honestly. He may not.
So
he will.
He's a pass protector with limited athleticism. That's all I saw and all I needed to know.
Bro, that's a scouting report, Smitty.
Yeah,
we just talked about how scouting reports are always wrong. We just talked about it.
That's all you need to know.
Shut up,
all right.
Smitty.
So my question for you, Charlie, I'm assuming you know more of Josh Uche.
Yes.
Tell us about him. Did you like him? Do you think he'll be any good for the Pats?
All right. Well, first of all, yes, I do. I think it's a great pick. So first of all, he's from Florida. So like he's automatically good. He's from Florida. So so his freshman and sophomore year, he like barely played. I mean, he played some, but like he really didn't get like a lot of snaps. But like he was still really good. So his junior year, like he just went off. He didn't even start, but he won second team all defensive, I think. Yeah, second team all defensive Big Ten. Not even a starter. And then his senior year, he was first team. He had like 9 sacks or something like that.
8.5, and he played basically 50% of the defensive snaps.
Yeah, and he had that many sacks.
I think that's a question, like why he's drafted so low is because he is so good and so athletic. Why'd he play so little?
So, first of all, he's only 6'1". Like he's not that big. I mean, he's 245, which I don't know. Like for an NFL linebacker, that's like not
He looks small. He looks very small, but his athleticism definitely makes up for it.
Oh yeah, like he is quick. He's really fast.
Do you think he'll play like a Jamie Collins role?
I don't think. Honestly, once he just needs to become like a better pass protector, and I think like his game will be almost complete because
Pass
like
rusher, you mean?
no.
Oh, just like in secondary, like coverage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like in the secondary. But he yeah, what was I gonna say? Totally forgot what I was gonna say. Wait. I got
He
this.
needs to become a better.
Oh yeah. So like his biggest weakness was his instincts, partly because like he just hasn't played that much. I think he tore his meniscus when he was like a sophomore or junior, so he kind of has that too. But like his instincts aren't that good. But I feel like if you don't have good instincts, like going to Belichick, like that's the best possible move.
Do you have an NFL comparison for him, for his potential?
His potential.
Like if like the best he could be. What's an NFL comparison?
Put him on the spot. I love it. Make him think.
I'm trying to think of Quan Alexander, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Is he on the 49ers or was he on the 49ers?
Yeah.
He's now on the 49ers, yeah.
Yeah. I would say Quan Alexander realistically, and maybe more like, I don't know, hopefully Luke Kuechly, but that's a little that's a little
for the stars.
Yeah. But
did he play any coverage in Michigan? Like every clip, every highlight I saw of him was him pass rushing.
Most, yeah. Like he probably 80% of the time he was a pass rusher. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, he just hasn't done a lot of that, mostly because Michigan either sacked them before they could even pass the ball, or they played terrible Big Ten quarterbacks. So so it wouldn't even matter anyways.
Speaking of terrible Big Ten quarterbacks, the Patriots signed unrestricted free agent
Brian Lewerke.
Brian Lewerke.
Oh my God, that guy sucks. He's so bad. He's so bad.
I've heard terrible things about him, so I just wanted to hear your opinion about him.
Dude, I mean, listen, Michigan beat them by like 26 points, so you know how bad they are.
So you don't think
that clip?
What were you saying?
So you go, Smitty.
That clip of him where he fumbled the snap on third down and goes like 15 yards back and just hucks it as soon as he picks it up and it gets picked off was great.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that clip going around and I didn't realize that was the same guy who they had signed.
Isn't he a lefty?
Is he?
I don't know.
I think he is.
No.
I don't think there's been there hasn't been a lefty quarterback since Kellen Moore. Like there was no lefty quarterback last year.
Wow.
More's the last lefty quarterback to play in the NFL. Like
for sure, Tua's a lefty quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. So
Tua's
the first one since then.
Wow.
But we also signed who is it from Louisiana State? Like I forget his name, but I don't get why we even bother getting, unless it's just for the cheap and just screw it. They'll cost $30,000. Try them out, but
they're camp arms. That's it.
Who?
They're camp arms. Like literally, they're going to come in for passing camps and preseason, and then they're going to get cut. Or maybe one of them will make the practice squad.
Yeah,
I would so be on a practice squad, dude.
Yeah, why get over 100,000 to just be a practice guy?
Yeah, did you get shit on by a couple of NFL pros? Sure, I don't care.
Yeah. I don't get why not. So
they signed Jamar Smith from Louisiana Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So and Brian Lewerke is a righty quarterback.
Yeah.
Right-handed.
So I saw that today. Like people saying Michigan State's offense was actually one of the worst in the Big Ten, and we signed their quarterback. So I just thought that was funny.
It was terrible.
They brought him in. They brought him in to scout against Josh Allen in preseason.
Or make the defense feel really good about itself when they make plays against a quarterback, maybe.
Yeah,
Something
definitely
like
that.
So, I want to get your opinion because I think you texted me about it when this happened. Our kicker, Justin Warhauser, is that how you say his name?
I think something like that.
So,
Rohrwasser.
Rohrwasser. So he got some sort of extremely right-wing tattoo. Like that was like basically anyone could talk about rounds 4 through 7 because there's nothing to talk about anyways.
Yeah.
But that was like the main thing they talked about. So and he was quoted saying that he mistakenly got it and didn't know what it meant and thought it was just supporting your country. So I just wanted to get your whole opinion on the take. We don't go too political, but
Yeah. And listen, I'm not trying to be the PC police here, but seriously, if Ryan knows me, Ryan knows that I'm not PC at all.
No.
Correct, Ryan?
You're very on PC all the time.
Yes,
in public.
Yes. All right. So honestly, like he must have been 18 when he got the tattoo or something like that.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he said he was 18. And do you really think that like he was dumb enough to not know what that meant? Like when he got it, and then even now, like how would he not know what that meant? I feel like it's kind of bullshit, and I also feel like it's kind of bull how the NFL is just making him like cover it up. Like the symbol, like it's a pretty bad symbol. Like they're like a right wing militia group or something like that.
I don't get how would he be able to find the tattoo in the first place? Like how do you find it and think it's? You have to have like some sort of like reasoning to find it because I've never seen it until Saturday.
I mean, honestly, like there's a lot of stupid people, so someone could just like look up, like like something like right wing tattoo because like if you're right wing, then you can get a tattoo, and they just got something harmless. But I don't know. Like I feel like the NFL should definitely make him get rid of it, but they're just making him cover it up. So I don't know.
I think he said he's gonna either like.
He said he's gonna get it removed now. Yeah, he acknowledged. He said at first I said I was going to get it covered, but now I think it would just be best to remove it.
Oh, okay. Well, so I guess that's a good thing then, but like it's crazy that he didn't know about it.
Yeah. So do you know exactly, like I know basically like what you just said, and I know that they're they say they're not anti-government, but basically they are against government having like influence at the local level, and they're willing to fight U.S. forces if it comes to that, like basically revolt against the government. Like what everyone's tying racism to it, and like are there things they've done in the past, like racist things? Because I like tried looking things up and I couldn't find that much on it. So that's where like I'm confused on where that tie comes in. Or is it just like all the people that are part of it are also just very racist people in general?
Yeah, so I think you're definitely right about like the second one, like
the second
all
part. Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, like those are the type of people that you saw at like Charlottesville, you know.
Yeah.
So like not the best people, but
no, they're actually like there were members at like there were members in Charlottesville.
Oh, yeah. Really? There were? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty bad, but at least he's getting rid of it, I guess.
Yeah. I saw that in an article because I was like trying to read articles on both sides of it, like just some of the like regular articles that try to like stay down the middle, just present the facts, and then articles that were like there's people who are pushing for the Pats to not sign his rookie deal, like they should just cut ties with them now. And I read something about there being people present with that tattoo in Charlottesville, so I'm gonna look that up.
I mean, he could have just made the mistake when he was 18 years old. He could have been like influenced by somebody or by a group of people, you know, like as long as like he doesn't still feel that way, I think that's the big thing.
Yeah. And like whoever knows if he even ever did feel that way.
So. Yeah.
And my opinion is if you're a football player, like in football, especially playing at Marshall, I'd say probably 75% of his teammates are black, and a few of the people that come on, like that I've seen talk about him, had nothing negative to say about him. So I think at least that's a sign like that. I feel like you can tell, like Riley Cooper. I feel like teammates never liked Riley Cooper.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
Riley
found out
Cooper
why.
sucked.
So I think if he was like that far right wing and believed it, I think teammates would probably be able to pick up on it and would probably say no comment about him. But like people like went out of their way to like say he's not like that, and it's a mistake. But I mean, we'll find out and see. I think the Pats signed him because he hit a game winner, like 53-yard field goal against
He was 14 for 14 in any fourth quarter or overtime kicks in his career.
Wow.
Need that.
Right wing clutch gene, I guess, you know. Far right wing.
I like, did any of you guys know what that was before? Like, did any of you guys know what 3%ers were before? Did you
I
know
had
what
no
it was?
idea
Have
what
you
it
heard
was.
of it before?
No,
Like,
I had never heard of them.
I can understand people who he interacted with not knowing what that was and just not picking up on, especially when he has so many tattoos. And I think it's unfair for people to say, like, how did no one ever notice? Like, no one really knows what that is. But I mean, maybe that's just up here. Maybe it's more popular down south. But I agree completely. How do you get that on your body and just not?
How you find it in the first place?
Yeah.
Like, why is that
No.
your go-to one instead of just like the American flag or something? But I mean, only he will ever know his true like reasoning for it, whether it was an actual mistake or not. But I mean, at the end of the day, if he's not causing problems and he's making field goals better than Gostkowski was at the end of his career, I won't complain.
And as a fellow Jew to Ryan, right, Ryan?
Told you. I made sure to know
Those types of groups don't really like us. So.
No, so I mean, and Robert Kraft's Jewish. So,
he is.
So I looked up the Charlottesville connection with the 3%ers, and there were armed militias there. I think they were like separate. I don't know if they were just other white supremacy groups or whatever, and they were just members of the 3%ers that were also members of that. But they released a statement after saying that they're aware of people who were part of these militias that were also 3%er members, and they were distancing themselves from those members. So it's not like they had like a chapter down in Carolina who were like a part of it officially or something, but it's definitely like that second thing that you had mentioned where they just have a lot of people who are racist, and it just overall is just not, it's just a bad group of people.
Just bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no boops for them.
No.
So moving on from that, the last topic for the day, unless this goes by quick, then maybe we can do a hill to die on. But last topic.
Ryan, I have one question for you, Ryan.
Yep. So
why are you wearing a Texas Tech hat?
Two reasons. I'll give you why I'm wearing it is because my hair is just, I haven't had a haircut since February, so it's looking bad under here. Second is my fellow friend and podcaster, Zach, and Zach had a internship at Texas Tech with the strength and conditioning program. So
Nice.
I traveled down there, and I forgot I had this hat. Like, I got it at the airport, and like when Zach saw it, he's like, "Hey, when did you get that?" I just like could not remember when I got it until like a few hours later. Like I think it was a blank-minded purchase. I just wanted to buy it. And
yeah, I checked them at the airport. Those cost like $35, bro.
Yeah, it was like $35, and I don't know why I bought it, to be honest. I like the hat. I mean,
you just wanted proof that you were there.
I just want that clout, exactly, that in there. And the funny thing about it, what town is Texas Tech in?
Lubbock.
Lubbock.
Yeah.
So I'd never heard of Lubbock, Texas before. And after I went there, like maybe once every like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll hear someone on the radio like trashing Lubbock, Texas, for, like whatever reason. I'm like, how come I've never heard of this place until now? And
it's top 10 most boring places in the country.
No, it's like a big place, but literally nothing to do there except go to a Mexican style grocery store.
That doesn't sound bad.
They had some cool looking food there.
Yeah.
The food was good.
We drove in this random like mobile home lot, and I was never more scared in my life like to get out of there. Because have you guys ever played Grand Theft Auto 5?
Yes.
Like
I think so.
when you're in the bum country west, like all like the people outside their homes, like their fold out chairs. Like that one street was literally just like GTA 5, and I was scared that.
What street was this in Lubbock?
Yeah, remember when we took a wrong turn? We went down this road and
Oh yeah.
turn, and I was pretty concerned for myself.
It
Like,
turns out I also found out from like the people that I was working with, they were like, oh wow, you're like right on the borderline from like the really, really bad part of Lubbock. I'm like, oh, good to know.
yeah, like that was the slums of Lubbock, Texas, and that's what it reminded me of. So that's why I have the hat, you know.
Okay.
Waiting for Trevor Phillips to come out and attack you.
This is literally
GTA
like
5.
there's literally Trevor Phillips house. I thought like someone like that was gonna come out and like try to like with a glass of beer in hand, like break the beer and go after us. Especially in a Subaru. I mean, we did not fit in.
What you talking about, bro? My car whips.
A Jew and a Muslim in Lubbock, Texas does not.
In a Subaru.
In a Subaru. Like we could not have been more out of place. It's a red stain on a white carpet, just completely not supposed to be there. And but it was
stuff.
Once we escaped, it was a funny moment. Escaped, even though they're probably nice people, and I'm just a dick. Like they could be great people, just down on the tough times, and I'm being an asshole. So I'm sorry for those people if you're nice.
If you're listening.
If you're listening, yeah. Follow us on the Next One podcast, and we can talk about it. So last topic of the day, just because we went on that tangent, is the Jordan documentary. And one thing about Jordan documentary, then we'll get into it, but Bill Simmons on Twitter had like a whole article saying that Dennis Rodman doesn't say anything interesting.
What?
Like, you guys not see it? He said that like Dennis Rodman isn't interesting, and on the Herd with Colin Cowherd, he was saying that he agrees.
I love him. Don't disrespect him.
I think he's the dad of sports TV, and his daughter's simp army is hilarious. So I'm okay with it.
They are like definitely the funniest group on Twitter, I would say.
Zach, have you seen that? What's his daughter's name?
Liv
Cowherd. Have you seen?
Yes, I've seen it.
It's very funny. I'm not a fellow simp of that army, but
I don't believe you, bro.
Of course not. Of course not, Ryan.
Definitely not.
I don't subscribe to anything of hers whatsoever, I promise. Anyways, so, but yeah, Colin Cowherd and Bill Simmons were saying that, like, Dennis Rodman's not interesting, and I'm like, how can, like, he can be tame. He's not just a wild person, like, making wild claims. Like, he's literally best friends with the dictator of North Korea, who could be dead right now. I don't know. I'm shocked no one's asked him about that, or at least haven't seen it.
No, he's been asked about it. Rodman?
Yeah, what has he said?
Well, I don't know if he's been asked about it, but he released a statement saying that he's like praying for like the rumors are false and that he is like recovering.
I'm shocked Kim Jong-un hasn't like sent him on a flight to visit him if he's alive.
Yeah.
Weirdest friendship ever.
Like, yeah.
Weirdest thing.
And Rodman kind of has like no choice in that because it probably, honestly, it's probably good for our country if he just pretends to be his friend.
I mean, he probably is his friend, honestly. But we can dive into this episode because the third episode was about Dennis Rodman. And the first thing, like the most glaring thing everyone's talked about is how the hell was he able to go on a 48-hour plus vacation in the middle of the season and get no like repercussions for it? Like if that happened today,
oh my God,
Colin Cowherd would be having an aneurysm probably.
Bro, that's how you do. That's the proper way how to do load management. Instead of just missing a game, you should just go to Vegas for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And get away with it because no one like there's no social media, there's no iPhones. Like you can get away with that. I mean, they showed the fans, but there definitely wasn't nearly as much attention as there would be now.
Yeah.
Definitely not. And another funny part, and I'll let you guys talk about because I'm kind of hogging the time. What was the lady he did was Carmen Electra?
Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra, yeah.
How like Michael Jordan said he knocked on his door, and he's like, I'm not gonna say what happened behind that door. And then it panned right to Carmen Electra's like, well, Michael Jordan knocks on the door. You could have told Michael Jordan he could have told the story for us. He had to have that pan. I thought that was funny.
Didn't he also date Madonna or something like that?
Also dated Madonna.
That like, how did a guy like that do that? I mean,
I think Madonna just goes for like Madonna also dated Michael Jackson for a little, so I think Madonna just dates the most weird, interesting people to get.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I'm pretty sure someone said in the documentary that Madonna thought he was cute after he first dyed his hair. He bleached it, and then they started dating.
Yep.
So I just want to get whoever wants to go first. We'll see, Zach. You can go first. What was your favorite moment from the Jordan documentary, or most memorable?
I love Dennis Rodman's impersonation of like how he would train to get the rebounds. It'd be like click clack that, and then it'd be bop bop bop. And then I thought that was hilarious. And then now there's a bunch of memes about it. So something I love about the Jordan documentary is that so many memes are coming out of it. So I love that. And then the beef between Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan is still around to today, and how they still hate each other. Or Isaiah Thomas doesn't show that he hates him. Michael Jordan clearly hates him, and it's hilarious.
Isaiah Thomas is always just like smirking. He always has the same look on his face the whole entire time.
Isaiah Thomas is such a fake nice guy. Isaiah Thomas behind the scenes is definitely an asshole.
Oh yeah,
my opinion.
Now he's trying to play like a sympathy card with the Dream Team, saying like it's unfair that he was left off if it was for that reason.
Which is inherently hilarious and why he's the GOAT, obviously.
Also, I don't know why people are saying that LeBron, because they came out with the MJ rules, right? And legit, the MJ rules, like, yeah, there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 1 or 2 actually made sense, force him baseline. But the other 3 were like, beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Bro, so I'm like, whoever tells me LeBron can't play with them, Ryan, I saw the thread that you reposted. Terrible. I'm like, that's just LeBron playing in this league. You tell me you're putting a 6'8", 250 power forward, and he'd get bullied by freaking Bill Laimbeer? Get out of here, man.
He wouldn't get bullied, but it's the mentality they play. Like LeBron, it's also on the NBA. Like LeBron flops because he knows he can get the call and it'll help his team. I'm sure he wouldn't do that back then.
That's my point.
But it's a thought that if he had that same mentality playing in the 80s basketball, how
that's such a stupid comparison. You can't do that. You can't put
a
player from one era. Yeah.
And also, Michael Jordan didn't work out then. I'm sure, even though I hate watching LeBron work out because it's a very cringe-worthy thing watching like how he works out.
Even though I love Jordan's pink weightlifting gloves.
He kind of lost some points watching him overhead press, and he's like, oh, like his face.
I loved it. But once he started talking about strength training, I was like, oh yeah, now we're getting into it.
I thought it was funny. Okay. Smitty, what was your favorite part of the doc?
I absolutely love the everything with the Pistons. They go over a lot of that in the Bad Boys 30 for 32, and they talk about the Jordan rules and how he started working out after their first playoff matchup in, I believe, 89, or maybe it was 90 after they went back to back. But
yeah, I think.
Okay, and then also I love how Jordan still his anger, obviously with that, but with Game 7, Scottie Pippen's migraines too. He's still so upset about that to this day. I figured maybe he would get over that too, or cut his teammates some slack. But That he's still so pissed about that, and he wants to call Scotty soft on it, but he's not going to publicly shame him like that.
Yeah, his animosity towards Scottie Pippen, like literally just like blaming him for it to this day. Not like he was like had like a migraine, he's dizzy, can't see. Like I'm sure Scottie Pippen's gonna be the first one to want to come back in the game. And also, I felt like it was a roast to Scottie Pippen saying like he didn't have that drive to be Michael Jordan. Like I feel like it was a mini roast session of Scottie Pippen, which
Michael Jordan was just better. That's it. Like I don't think you can compare their drives really. I think they're
like also until they changed the offense to the triangle offense that Phil Jackson was pushing with the other assistant coach. I mean, the other coach was legit like give the ball to Michael and everybody get out of the way.
Yeah.
So what's Scottie Pippen supposed to do? Scottie Pippen's like, okay, like I'll try to score when I get the ball, but the offense isn't built around me. You know, I'm not the focal point. So once they designed the other offense, now everybody was actually getting involved, and that's when they actually became a good team. Which makes me think that maybe Michael Jordan isn't the best player of all time.
No, see, this is what I'm getting to. I saw a tweet that said Michael Jordan needed the triangle system in order to be great, and LeBron is the system, which is just a terrible take because Jordan was already he was already winning scoring titles. They had other talent, and because they had other talent. You can't win an NBA championship by yourself. I don't care if you're Jordan, if you're LeBron, Kobe, whatever. You cannot do it by yourself. You need at least one other guy. And with that, they were able to get other people involved and actually use the other 4 players on the court. Jordan, he was already winning scoring titles. He was trying to do too much. They needed to utilize the other players around.
So what's wrong with LeBron's system? What's wrong with LeBron's system?
He's just not as good. He's 3-6 in the finals.
Oh my gosh, bro!
I was saying that's a terrible take because
the only legit one, the only real loss that should be counted is the Mavs.
What?
No, and the Spurs too.
The Spurs were still a good team.
Yeah, but
that's what I mean. That loss should count.
Yeah, his last one against Golden State shouldn't count.
And what about the year that Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt?
I mean,
it was him and Timothy Mozgov. Bro, come on.
Hey, he got a big contract after that.
I really don't think that NBA Finals record is like the best way to gauge that.
I agree.
I do think a lot of his shouldn't count because he was by himself. So I'll give you that.
LeBron?
Like, do you count Kevin Durant's
LeBron, yeah.
Yeah.
Kawhi's one championship is worth more than Kevin Durant's 2 championships.
I would rather win an friggin' BYB championship. That's BYB championship and friggin' Kevin Durant's championship is the same weight. Same weight right now.
Charlie, BYB's Braintree Youth Basketball Championship for reference.
Oh, Braintree Squad. Okay.
I'm trying to find the quote, but I think this is from the second episode. No, it's probably still the first with the Bad Boys. I forget which one. Where Michael Jordan's talking about the triangle offense, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't want what's the center's name from Chicago?
Bill Cartwright."
He's like, "I don't want Bill Cartwright with the ball 5 seconds left."
Yeah,
that was funny.
And then they played a video of him breaking the next shot.
Yeah,
a fadeaway and just, like the side of the backboard or something.
That was hilarious.
I
love how they inadvertently shit on people during the show. It's hilarious.
Yeah, him and Craig Elo took huge L's. Craig Elo, the guard from the Cavs.
And I think this is the second one where after they beat the Pistons, and Smitty, you're gonna have to help me with names again because I'm awful at names. When they're on the plane and Mike Jordan to the camera and it's like, yeah, this guy he gets it on.
Oh,
huge alcoholic.
Huge alcoholic. Don't show my mom this. Yeah. I forgot his name, but
no, I think that was after they won the championship.
I forget it.
Oh, yeah, that was after they won the championship, but I know I forget the name.
Michael Jordan.
He only played with the Bulls that year.
Oh, so Michael Jordan's.
Let me find it.
Just roasted him and then kicked him off the team.
Michael Jordan and LeBron James are 2 completely different people. Where, like, I think LeBron James does everything behind their people's backs. Like, obviously, this is just me being biased a little. But Kobe and Michael Jordan, at least stories-wise, like they say everything up front right to their face. Like, Jordan is not afraid to be an asshole on camera on the documentary or in person at practice, because half the stories are Michael Jordan just yelling at people in practice. And watching Steve Kerr like still love Michael Jordan after like getting punched in the face after a practice, like it just shows the respect that he's one of those people that demands respect, and you just have to accept it.
The teammate on the plane, that was Scotty Burrell.
Scotty Burrell.
And yeah. And then, so that was his only year with the Bulls, and they won. He got his ring. And then the MJ quote on the triangle offense was, everybody has an opportunity to touch the ball, but I didn't want Bill Cartwright to have the ball at 5 seconds left. That's not equal opportunity offense. That's fucking bullshit.
Which is true. After watching what they cut to, the fadeaway jump shot that had no chance of going in. It's very true. And so the second episode was more geared towards Phil Jackson, and I like this episode just because you see just how like Phil Jackson operates, and he's definitely not a normal coach. And Charlie, I'm gonna ask you what your favorite part of this episode was, but my favorite part for me was when Phil Jackson compared Dennis Rodman to as like some creature that walked backwards, and it's just basically him telling Dennis Rodman that he's a weird guy. And I thought that was like the funniest way to do it. And Dennis Rodman, I like how Dennis Rodman can acknowledge that he's a diva and he needs a lot of like special treatment to work. And Phil Jackson, just like after this documentary, you should see like he deserves a lot of credit. Like he is probably the best coach of all time, where in basketball, it's all about just making personalized work. It's not necessarily the offense, where even though the triangle offense did improve the team a lot, NBA, it's all about having talent and managing the talent. And I think Phil Jackson's the master of managing talent. Like even with Kobe and Shaq, how they hated each other but still won 3 championships. It's just how you can mesh everything together. But Charlie, I want to get your opinion on the Phil Jackson episode. What was your favorite part from that one?
From the Phil Jackson episode, was that the second one?
The last one, the most recent one.
Oh, actually, I've only seen the first 3.
Oh,
So I've not seen the fourth. But I mean, like I know what happens, but I don't know any like specific quotes from it. So can't really answer that one. But I can answer my favorite part of the whole thing.
okay.
Well, I like it's my favorite, but it like I don't know. I felt kind of bad. It was when I think it was it Rodman? He was berating the owner like on the bus. Like he was just going into him. And it wasn't just that, like he was doing it in the locker room too. He was doing it like in public.
I think that's Scottie Pippen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Scottie.
It was Pippen because he was pissed about his contract.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. I honestly don't think that guy was a bad owner, and I don't think that he deserved that. Like he was just some short guy, some like short fat guy who just like was trying to do the right thing. That's what I think.
Jerry Krause.
Yeah, Jerry Krause.
Yeah, I think this is the third episode. Watching him dance with Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen's like, "Yo, Jerry, sit your fat ass down." Like that was in '91, where like that Scottie probably just signed his contract, so there wasn't any beef. But still, they just loved shitting on Jerry Krause for whatever reason. And
imagine getting to shit on your boss every day.
Yeah,
It's like that's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing for him.
have like all these like elite athletes just roast you the whole time, like, and that was '91 where there wasn't any beef. Where in '98, like, all the beef was there. So
yeah,
that's a good one. I like that.
Also, with the Phil Jackson episode, Ryan, can we acknowledge the fact that when he started his coaching career in the league, what country?
Puerto Rico,
and the guy shot a referee and was just suspended from all home games.
The mayor of the town he coached and shot a referee, and his punishment was just not being able to go to home games.
That was hilarious.
That was funny.
Like also, I do agree, Ryan. I think major props to Phil Jackson. Like, definitely, like, probably, like, highlighting all of his accomplishments and like his rise in the league. Like, probably puts him like the best coach of all time.
And you have to give Jerry Krause credit for going off of Doug Collins, where Doug Collins was doing an okay job, like getting him to the playoffs, but Jerry Krause knowing that Phil Jackson was going to give him a better chance to win, where like he was going to push the team rather than just give the ball to Jordan. Everyone moved the hell out of the way, and like that's where you give Jerry Krause credit. Like he did everything, and they emphasize this every time in the documentary. He did everything but sign Jordan, and like in today's time, like a normal GM wouldn't care about it, but for some reason back then, Jerry Krause like needed that credit where. Am I muted?
I accidentally muted you. Sorry.
I was muted for like 3 seconds there.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. What I was saying.
You were saying that Jerry Krause did everything but draft Jordan.
And like for some reason his little man syndrome just kept like kicking in, and he just couldn't allow that. Like if he could have just gone over that and be okay with it, he'd probably be seen as like top 10 GMs of all time. But like I don't know, like
he probably wouldn't get that credit, but the fact that he asked for it, people were just like, no, if you're a dick and we don't like you.
Exactly. It's just that thing in life where you can, it's just like getting a nickname. Like if you ask people to call you something, people aren't going to want to call you that. Like you can't give yourself a nickname. It has to come organically. Like Jerry Krause can only get credit organically, like people acknowledge him. You can't ask for credit.
Yeah, I mean they made
credit.
They made the move to get Pippen in the draft, and then with Rodman, he saw that if he came in and had the leadership and guidance of Pippen and Jordan, that they'd be able to tame him. And I loved how they talked about that first meeting where they asked Rodman why did he have issues with other teams, and he said because all the GMs wanted to be his friend, and Jerry Krause was like, I don't want to be your friend. I'm an ugly old fat fuck, and you have rings up your ass. Like that's, I mean, he really did approach that situation like the right way, and that's why it worked so well. You know, and they were able to win another three rings with him.
Yeah, that was the funny part too. And it's so weird that they're allowing all these F-bombs and swears on ESPN. It's not even like late at night. This is at 9 o'clock at night, how they're just dropping F-bombs. I just think that's funny how they just kind of let it slide.
You didn't watch the uncensored one on ESPN too?
No, I watched it. I thought ESPN 2 was the censored one.
Oh yeah, you're right. They had a censored one on ESPN too, which I thought was also kind of stupid. Like,
What's the point?
Why would you show two? Just show one.
Just so the kids can watch and the parents can feel happy about it.
Yeah. All the kids who don't even know who Michael Jordan is, and
yeah,
doing Fortnite dances along with it. So somebody did ask you what your favorite part was from the Phil Jackson one?
No, it was pretty much that what I just said, that the interaction and the bold choice to fire Doug Collins too when they, like you said, were making a playoff run, and how that did play in their favor.
Yeah, I don't have anything else from it. I like the second two episodes more than the first two because I thought it's like a lot more things like you wouldn't have seen or heard, and a lot more stuff like I didn't know I was learned in this episode. But it's really sad that it's come to this where it's the most forward thing I'm looking forward to. Like that didn't make any sense. It's what I'm looking most forward to in the week, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, definitely.
Sunday nights, now they're lit, man.
Sunday night, Jordan night, and I'm looking at my notes just to see if I wrote anything else, and I took terrible notes. I just wrote MJ no chill, so I literally didn't try to take notes on that. But this is the whole podcast. We didn't do a Planet Hill to Die on segment. So is there anything else you guys want to get off your chest before we sign off?
Shout out to Al Halper. That's all I have to say.
Fun fact, he has a Facebook now, so he's killing it.
And thank you for letting me on your podcast.
Of course.
It means so much. I just think I'm going to cry. But
guys, I need you to rate Charlie on his performance. I'll give you first. I think you're electric talking, but your background changed a lot.
Be honest.
No,
I give you a 9 and not a 10 because you didn't watch the second episode of the
That-
documentary Sunday night. But I also I give Ryan a 0 for selling you based on this podcast. I give
agree
Ryan a
with Smitty.
0 out of 10 for his
Agree with Smitty.
ability to sell you.
I'm not a salesman or a lawyer, so I don't know what to say to that. Zach, anything to say before we head off?
No, I mean, the fact that you weren't a Patriots fan, I had to deduct a couple points.
Okay.
That's just me and a biased person. But you also agreed that LeBron would score 60 points every game. So, I mean, then you get plus points because they're both LeBron haters,
Yeah.
like the most of the world. So, I mean, averaging
I think
all the
we
scores.
should do.
What you got, Smitty?
No, finish.
Averaging all the scores, I give it a solid 8.5.
Okay. All right. Pretty solid for the first time.
I think at some point we should actually do a debate on Jordan versus LeBron because you two would probably you both will take Jordan. I mean LeBron, right? Charlie and Zach, right? And Brian, you and I would both take Jordan.
All the way.
So maybe at the end of this documentary we could do a debate.
I never said that I would take LeBron, but I don't know. I think that Ryan in particular is a LeBron hater for no good reason.
Fact.
For no
Just
good
a
reason
spite.
at all.
Just a spite.
A great reason. Before we head off, I'm just going to give you my preview because I want to do this episode now. And a LeBron versus Jordan episode where Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp just going at it, or Stephen A. and Skip Bayless just attacking each other, and where LeBron James is all about himself. Like he'll turn anything into himself because all he cares about is marketing. Jordan's the same way, but Jordan does it so much more subtly, so much more cleverly. And LeBron James is not my most hated player. If you go on my Twitter or listen to any podcast, you'll know who my most hated NBA player of all time is. LeBron's number 2. And want to know who's number 1?
Yeah.
Do you know who it is, or do you want me to tell you?
No, I don't know.
I know who it is.
But you guys should know it's Kyrie Irving is the most
Oh yeah, dude.
Don't get
irritating
Ryan
human
started.
being ever. I honestly
think
Kyrie
I'd agree with you. I think I'd agree with you after what happened in Boston. I think I hate him more than LeBron now.
Kyrie has no like I'm sure he gives to charity and I'm sure he's a good guy in that sense. But anything outside of that, he has no redeeming qualities.
How do you know? You don't know him.
Relax, bro.
I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay, Ryan. Relax.
Don't get me heated up, bro. Don't get me heated up. But we can talk about this another time.
I will 100% debate this. 100%.
At the conclusion of the documentary's airing, we should.
All right. Charlie, if you want to come back on, you'd have to take the LeBron James side.
No, you don't have to. I'm fine with
you don't.
A 3-1. I mean, LeBron came back from a 3-1 deficit. I can beat you guys 3-1.
I knew you were gonna say that.
It don't even matter.
Okay. I can definitely argue LeBron. I can do that.
All right. I mean, you got to argue with what you actually believe in. I don't want to push your values on someone onto you.
Well, no. Listen. I think it's Jordan, but I also like a good debate, so I could definitely do LeBron.
Okay. Well, until the next one podcast, that'll be a few weeks down the road because now I'm pumped up for that. Just one episode only debating that. That'll be hilarious.
It's legit going to be 2 hours long.
It will be. And there will be feelings will be hurt, and we'll go into boys and come out as men.
We might not podcast for another week because I mean we're going to be so mad.
The beef will be still on fire. But until the next one podcast, thank you for listening. I'm Ryan Connolly along with Brendan Smith, Zach Maharmo, and guest Charlie the Jew Newman. He's an ass man. Until the next one podcast.
Great nickname, asshole.
Maybe I'll edit that out. But thank you for listening, and MJ's the GOAT.
Go
I'll
Pats.
see you, Ryan. See you guys.
And Claire, we're good.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, he left.
That's hilarious.
That was great. Oh, my legs are so tight.